RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm not that late tonight, so thank you for hanging out. We are here for our Friday night get-together, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. I see the chat room filling up with the greatest people ever in American history. In the greatest chat room in American history. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat right out of the gate. Thank you, Jim, for also being a moderator. And thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator. And thank you, Ed, for showing up. And thank you, Kathy, for just being here, being you. Showing up, hanging out. Let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. If you can, become a patron. Please do. Help keep the show going and growing. And tell your friends about the show. I mean, I got to give you all the instructions as usual. And all right, what else? If you can support our sponsor, APS Radio News. Check out APS Radio News. It's a independent media outlet run by an amazing, awesome person with a good heart, a good soul. And isn't it, it's no coincidence that he is a supporter of the show, because that's basically the baseline of all the people who are here, with good people with good hearts and souls. So thank you so much. And that's why we have our moderators. When some of the trolls show up, we give them the old heave-ho. We have a zero troll policy. So we don't endure the fools. There's plenty of places for them to hang out. For example, CPAC, right? What a filthy, vile collection of goons and freaks and geeks and fascists, really, and hate mongers. And they keep getting worse. Every year, and when I watch CPAC, I think, how can they get worse? Now, think about how bad this year is and continues to be. Was and is, it's present tense. Think about how bad they are, how that whole collection of whatever that was is. And what's it going to be like next year? How are they going to keep topping themselves in horribleness? Now, when I see the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Perjury Traitor Greene, like we call her, I think before there was a Perjury Traitor Greene, there was a Sarah Palin, right? And I thought Sarah Palin was bad. And then they go and do this. They go and give us Perjury Traitor Greene and Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert. They literally give us people who were banned from their local bowling alley. Okay? I mean, come on. What does it have to what does it take to get banned from a bowling alley? It's not like you're getting banned from the Waldorf Astoria or something. You're getting banned from a place where all the dregs hang out. Not, whatever. Depending on I don't know. Maybe you have a very lovely bowling alley, but it's not exactly a high-class joint in there, I imagine. You don't really see, Princess, whoever, the Princess of Wales in there, do you? So, yeah, her and her sexual predator husband got banned from a bowling alley. Well, her husband exposed himself to some underage girls in the bowling alley, because they love children. They want to protect the children, right? Republicans. And what really is alarming. I don't know. Is it alarming? Well, it is. Yeah. Watching corporate media, the corporate media was covering CPAC throughout the day, and I can't take it. I cannot take their framing this thing, whatever we're watching, as a as like just some legitimate alternative choice that you might make in a rational functioning society. That's the problem. No, that and what I'm saying is that it's not a rational choice. It should not be presented as that. And one thing I did see that I thought needed to happen more was that they were like, well, let's go to so and so at CPAC, and as he took up the live feed, he said Donald Trump Jr. had just finished speaking, whatever that was. He finished vomiting the dark recesses of his whatever excuse for a soul he has onto the stage, where the CPAC audience proceeded to lick it up like the demons that they are. So and then they somehow, I guess, felt more alive for a minute. But and that's really what he did. He mocked Senator Fetterman, and who is seeking help for clinical depression. Now, these are the compassionate conservatives, right? And to tell you the truth, they look at Donald Trump Jr. He doesn't have the courage to go seek help. He's clearly a drug addict, an active addict. He's got issues. One of them is that his daddy will never love him. And he's so out of control that he can't go and give a speech at the RNC without looking completely loaded. Of course he was loaded. I mean, you have to, we're not stupid. We have eyes. We saw with our own eyes, and despite the fact that he's like, oh yeah, the liberal media said I was, my eyes were all red. And, it's all, because everybody's picking on him. It's not just there. You can go to numerous appearances of his. Just Google him, and you could see that he's glassy-eyed, he's red-eyed, and there's something not right about him. Frankly, if he's not on drugs, we should be alarmed. He should be probably in emergency services getting help, for something wrong, because he's either had a stroke or something's wrong in his eyes, in his brain. But anyway, so when they cut to the guy, and he was like, Donald Trump Jr. just got off the stage, and he said something like, I have to mention that what he said was completely grotesque, which good. I was pleasantly surprised that he framed it like that. But I think that obviously wasn't. The pundits don't have scripts, but that was more of a spontaneous response. But that's the kind of response that all humans should have when some scumbag vomits hate on the stage. That's what the entire response to CPAC from the time it opened to the time it closed should be, gee, that was grotesque. Because that's what it is. It's not a normal thing. It's a response. It's like, why are we going to CPAC? Do you go to the KKK roundup every year? What's the damn difference? Oh, it's because they're attacking trans people. That's okay, right? If they were out there talking about, let's say, any other targeted minority group, many targeted minority groups, it's not that they don't spread hate against them. They just have to really be careful with their dog whistles. They got to use the dog whistles. With trans people, they just go, full tilt boogie with the hate. And the, targeting trans people, it just reflects their inherent cowardice, because, trans people are like 1.1 point whatever percent. It's such a small percentage of the population. And which is why we should be especially compassionate to people who, are transitioning. But they, we've talked about it all the time, that Republicans never bring light and understanding and compassion to a situation. Never in my life. And if you could find it, and I know that they talk about compassionate conservatism. That's a thing that they talk about. But I've yet to ever see it. Anybody give me an example of it? I'll happily report on it. Right? Uh-oh, here comes Junior. I thought he was in the bathroom. All right, hold on a second, guys. We'll be right back. Tarabuster. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out on Apologetic Liberal Talk. And thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Thank you so much. Another great show, Tara. I hope so. Oh, shit. There he is. All right. I wanted to, when I was watching the CPAC, I might have to put him in the bathroom on the bedroom, because I just don't want to deal with this right now with him. I love him. I'm talking about Tara Jr. I love Tara Jr. But I just don't want to fucking deal with him tonight, because we have to stick to the cues tonight, and I don't really have a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for a video. I'm going to play a video, and then I'm going to take his ass and put him in the bedroom. All right, that's not long enough. Well, let's play, because I wanted to talk about this. Well, let me see. Hold on. That's only 15 seconds. Shit. All right, I'll play this. This is because we're going to talk about this too. Or, you know what? I will play the CPAC, the montage that the Lincoln Project put together. Hold on.
Draw up an evil plan to destroy our country. Here's what it would look like.
Is Joe Biden the legitimate president of the United States?
They want one gender.
No, you don't, and that's racist.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Seeing their fully formed baby floating there in the toilet.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing about the family separation. And I'm still being sued over that, so come get me. I don't give a shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Lemon is past his prime time.
The left have so many news choices, but conservatives only have one.
How many people in this room have been censored?
If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats.
We all have equal justice under law, or at least we did until Joe Biden and his gang of thugs moved into the White House.
The Biden administration sucks.
Hunter Biden laptop.
I fear our government is being run by a bunch of spectacularly incompetent neo-Marxists.
They're Marxists.
This is socialism.
Oh, you wouldn't forget socialism.
Their bizarre, creepy, un-American agenda.
We need to abolish the ATF, by the way. Yes, we do. The Department
Abolish
of
everything.
Education,
Abolish
which, by the
it
way,
all.
should be abolished. Do you think America's a horrible place?
This is big tech. Break them up, bust them up, put them in jail.
They are
Everybody's
coming
going to jail.
in and moving into our homes with TikTok.
Oh
Thank
my.
God Elon Musk bought Twitter.
I would never advocate hunting the media for sport.
Creator of Lives of TikTok, Chaya Raichik.
Kaya is now the author of a brand new children's book.
Up next, sacking the woke playbook.
My pronouns are him and he, and there isn't any other.
I identify as he, we.
Narcissistically woke people.
Bathrooms. I'm just say that one word.
Bathroom.
Do I flush my child down the toilet?
And all sorts of crazy, scary crap came up.
Salutes the American flag.
Does anybody remember the movie Dr. Strangelove? They were
I feel like I'm living in it.
mad that I'm at CPAC today.
They despise
yes.
you
We're-
personally.
and they lied to furious.
us about every single thing about COVID.
You have definitely raised the IQ level in Washington, D.C. by just being here.
I'll tell you anything I told President Trump. He comes back, I come back, we fix this shit.
Thanks for the nightmare, CPAC. Yeah, it's a shit show. The fact that there's an audience for everything, right? There's always that minority of morons, that will fall for anything. I know, the poor producer. No, he didn't want to go. But the fact that these scumbags have so much power, and let me tell you, the whole thing is a grift, and it always was, and always it will be, especially for the Trump crime family themselves. So let's start off with this, for example. Kimberly Guilfoyle is selling. She's got something to hawk.
And I want to make sure that you guys know about Gold Code. Don Jr.'s been talking about it. Gold and silver can protect your retirement savings from inflation and dollar devaluation. And owning tangible, physical, inflation hedging gold and silver can help diversify your portfolio. You've got to have a diversified portfolio. Everybody knows that. And Gold Code has helped thousands of Americans diversify and protect their retirement savings. Support companies who support you. It makes sense, doesn't it? Instead of supporting woke companies who hate you and use your money to further their political agenda. So go to KimsMetals, it's kind of catchy, .com to learn more. That's KimsMetals.com.
It's incredible. The whole thing is a grift. But she said that, why are you supporting companies? Don't support companies that hate you. Go to KimsMetals.com. Yes, let's go there. Let's go to KimsMetals. Let's do it together. Let's see. Let's go to Safari. Come on, Safari. KimsMetals. KimsMetals.com. Might be crashing. Look, it's not even her site. It's some low rent affiliate site. This is the URL she gave. Forwards to this gold CO gold kit. Gold company goldkit.com. So some other grifter is paying this ultimate grifter to get the MAGAMORONs, to separate more MAGAMORONs from their socialist security money. I'm sure we've seen sites like this. It's, it's one of these set it and forget it sites. And then it's just a scam. Get my free gold kit. The kit is 100% free. Gold, over a decade helping Americans. Gold, I hear some testimonials from... The whole thing it's just some kind of template that people who are looking to get into affiliate marketing use. They sell ebooks and shit like that. And that's what it is when you go to KimsMetals. Go to KimsMetals.com and sign up so Kim can get... I'm not sure how much can she be receiving? How much is she making? Her name isn't even on the site. KimsMetals. I'm telling you. Let's type it again. It's KimsMetals.com. Boom. Forward right to goldkit.com. It's unbelievable. Because imagine, if you will, if any Democrat did something like this, sold gold, any former, let's say the spouse, just think of anybody, the spouse of let's say Hunter Biden's wife was hawking gold, buy gold. Some bullshit. It's not even, what are you even buying? Complete all the fields in the form below and we'll call you within 15 minutes so you can receive your free guide, your free gold guide in 2 to 3 days. So you're not even getting anything. You're not buying anything. You're getting a guide. You're getting a fucking ebook. That's Kimberly for you. It's incredible. The entire thing is a grift. don't invest in actual companies, and like Disney, because they're woke, meaning that they're trying to, I don't know, make a more perfect union. They're trying to operate with the understanding that we are a multiracial, diverse nation with a whole lot of different people, which, well, I guess that's what diverse means. And that's, they want to appeal to all of them. That the world keeps evolving. And I don't see anything wrong with that, except, the fact that the Republicans cannot keep up. That's what it's about. They are fascists. And it's terrifying, really, that the corporate media seems to just simply report on this gathering of fascists like it's normal. Like, oh, where's Ron DeSantis? Are people voting? Would they rather vote for Trump or DeSantis? Who's in the running here? Both are horrible. Both options are terrifying and will be the death knell of democracy. So why are you presenting it like it's just some regular, it's like Eisenhower and whoever the hell, some other Republican? Those days are over. We're in different times now. The Republicans are the enemies of the people. They are the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. And tonight I wanted to bring it up because first of all, the CPAC shit show was disgusting, mocking, from mocking Fetterman's depression to Perjury Traitor Greene, going off on trans people, of course. And for that alone, the corporate media should report, this CPAC monstrosity for what it is. A dangerous gathering of fascists. It should be reported from the standpoint of what's wrong with them. Why do they hate democracy so much? What is wrong with them? Why are they still enabling this goddamn coup going on? And they are. It's getting worse now. Like, for example, I just wanted to remind people about the only thing separating because people say, oh, Republicans, they're not fascists, because there's no death camps. The death camps come down the road. Now, you cannot tell me that if given a choice, the Republicans wouldn't put certain people in camps. They wish they could put somebody in a camp, in a re-education camp. Are you kidding me? Especially trans people. So when was, so now we're past, it's, how many years ago was World War II? 80-something years? No, it was like over 75 years ago. But before the fascists rose to power in Nazi Germany, before it became Nazi Germany, Berlin was an incredibly progressive city. In fact, they also had, gay. They had, I don't know if you would call them clubs, but gay, like a gay center, and they also it was the home of something called the Institute of Sex Research, which advocated for sexual minorities, like trans people, like gay people. So I'm reading this from a website called The Hornet, and it was written in 2020. But so it says the title of it is "Nazi Attack on Queer People Began 87 years ago," but now it's 89 years ago. So, well, no, we're in 2023. Now it's 90 years ago. So here we go. This month it's not this month, but you know what I'm saying. In May, we mark a dark time in queer history. It's been 90 years since the Nazis destroyed the Institute. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Since the Nazis destroyed the Institute of Sex Research in Berlin. That's a hard sentence, I know. Don't worry, my tongue will catch up in a minute. Destroying priceless scholarship into sexual orientation and identity and laying the groundwork for the persecution that would continue in Europe and America for decades to come. So founded in 1919 by Magnus Hirschfeld and Arthur Kronfeld, the Institute for Sex Research was an early pioneer in early 20th century efforts to obtain equality for LGBTQ people. Hirschfeld quickly amassed a large library of research and surveys that detailed the sexual practices of thousands of people. Patients also flocked to the Institute's medical services, which included everything from physical treatments to marriage counseling. Hirschfeld strove to ensure that the Institute's services were available to all. Let me show you the guy as I'm reading it. There's a picture of him. Put that over there. Hold on. All right. Hirschfeld strove to ensure that the Institute's services were available to all, providing low and no-cost treatments for people with financial constraints. They were also, that was before Germany and the rest of Europe had universal health care, obviously. They were also, well, as we are still left behind by our own ignorance and stupidity. Okay, they were also at the forefront of advances that nearly a century later, America still lags behind the other countries, including treating sexually transmitted diseases, providing economic freedom for women, expanding access to birth control, and educating people on sex and pleasure. For a time, the work of Hirschfeld and his colleagues were unrivaled, and the Institute was globally recognized as the leader in sex research. That set an important tone between the two world wars, since the researchers were unequivocally outspoken when it came to what we would call queer liberation, although they certainly wouldn't have used that term at the time. Leadership of the Institute made significant contributions throughout the 20s and 30s. They helped end police entrapment of people that we would call transgender today. What they termed transsexualism was the favored term at the time. The Institute also offered medical services for people wishing to transition, something virtually unheard of at the time. So what happened? Nazis ruined everything, as they always do. And this goes for today's Nazis, too. And like I say, all the time, Republicans, they never bring anything to the table. And you want to ruin something, just like everything that Trump touches dies, everything that Republicans touches dies. Prove me wrong. Show me. Show me where they help something. You know, even when we talk about Obamacare, right? The whole fight that we had to go through just getting this handout to the health insurance racket. And basically we know what Obama did is what he did all the time, is that he would give the Republicans their own policies. And then they would, of course, block it to the best of their abilities. But so the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, sucks because it's the Republican health care plan. You know, I mean, it's better than nothing, but they don't bring anything of value to it. In fact, they make it worse. So when the Republicans were asked, like, for example, I'm just thinking about them rolling back the mandate that was in all the Republican health care plans that were ever proposed up until Obama proposed it, right? Then it became unconstitutional because they wiped their asses with the Constitution. They just say anything is unconstitutional. They don't know anything of what they're talking about. I mean, in fact, everything that they're up to is unconstitutional. You know, like, what about blocking people from voting if they move to red states, if they vote Democratic, right? Or, you know, I mean, all of the things that the Republicans propose. Talk about unconstitutional. But even when Obama was elected in his first landslide election, and we were on the brink of the second Republican Great Depression in 100 years because of Republicans suck, of course. And Obama invited them in to help come up with the rescue plan. Hold on a second. It's a cliffhanger. So when Obama, because he's always about, good ideas from both sides. I'll take both sides. To my utter frustration, constantly. It wasn't like, Obama was always reaching across the aisle to get his hand smacked. It's not like, it made me think about the first Republican Great Depression. You didn't see FDR going, we welcome their ideas. We welcome the ideas of the same people that just crashed the economy, that just gave us the Great Depression. We don't welcome their ideas because their ideas suck. But that's what Obama did. I welcome their ideas. And what did they do? Their ideas, because they only have one idea, make the rich richer and, a tax cut. That's their idea. So what they did with the rescue plan that the Democrats pushed through to save the economy, of course, by bailing out the banks, that the it was just, the whole thing is a shit show. They're so disgusting. And the one lag that on the rescue plan was that they made it, they kind of defanged a lot of the robust rescue package by putting tax cuts in there. So they transformed, direct assistance into tax breaks, which what the fuck does that do? It's, you know what I mean? Let's all wait for it to trickle down yet again, which it never does. But that's all the Republicans have. And the point is that what do they bring to the table? You ask. So Obama's like, yeah, let's get the Republicans in here to offer their ideas. And, they give you the same old shitty idea. I could have told them that was their idea. And it sucks. And what does it do? What does it help? If tax breaks fucking worked, we'd all be, on top of looking on top of the world, looking down on creation by now. All these guys, we're the most, with all the tax breaks for the rich, right? So, okay. Back to the story. The Nazis ruin everything they touch, like Republicans, like their modern incarnation. It was not. So let's see. But it was not to last for long. In the early 30s, the rise of the Nazis spelled doom for scholarship and liberation. Nazis attacked queer establishments, rounding up anyone they deemed to be insufficiently heterosexual. An administrator of the Institute, Kurt Hiller, was abducted and trapped in a concentration camp, eventually fleeing to Prague and London. The end came in May 1933. The German Student Union, a collective of Nazi youth, attacked, that's like the Young Conservative Club, right? Attacked the building on May 6th, scattering researchers and patients. The Nazis stole records that allowed them to later round up and execute suspected homosexuals. And then on May 10th, they conducted a public book burning. The bonfire destroyed about 20,000 books and 5,000 images, a priceless trove of knowledge gone within minutes. At the same time, Nazis issued an edict against other books that offended their sensibilities. This is ring any bells, guys. You know? We're living through a similar moment right now with these effing Nazis running around this country. And I wish they were just running around the country, except they're running in front of microphones and they're running in the halls of power. And everyone, not everyone, but a lot of those who are also in the halls of power are just kind of thinking like, did I actually see, am I witnessing this with my own lying eyes? It's almost as if you can't believe it. So just go along like business as usual. Report both sides. Report the collection of Nazis as if it's some kind of just, rational choice. Is it a rational choice to have a standard bearer, to have a primary process that includes a literal big lie spreading autocrat wannabe who's in the midst of a coup? That's, just, hey, who do you prefer? Donald Trump or DeSantis? Well, I think DeSantis should wait his turn. We'll have Donald Trump first and then we'll have DeSantis. And by that time, the country should be sufficiently dead. Oh, but trust me, guys, there'll be a lot of eagles and stars. It'll be red, white, and blue all over the fucking place. You'll be seeing eagles and stars in your sleep. Because that will be the substitute for actual patriotism. For an actual constitutionally limited democratic republic, forget it. It'll be even no more. It will be the fascists with the trappings of America wrapped around it. They're all in the name of God and apple pie and mom. Everything they do, just like the Nazis. The Nazis, I tell you, all the books I read on the Nazis, they all think, they're right. The Nazis all believed, when they were bashing a baby's head against the wall, that they were doing it for the fatherland. They were doing it out of love and patriotism. So when the same thing here, when the Nazis attacked the Institute for Sex Research in Berlin and burned books, and it's all to keep not America, see, right? To keep Germany, to keep the youth, to keep everyone free. What's the difference? It's the same shit going on today. They're banning drag shows. They're burning books. They're banning books. They want DeSantis wants journalists to register to be able to write about him. And not to mention the voting. Forget about it. Creating voting police. This is fascism. It can happen here. And in fact, I just watched another documentary about it's not really a documentary. It's an interview with a woman who was a young girl and she lived through Nazi Germany. And she was a young Jewish girl. Her parents, she was never in a concentration camp. But she and her family were able to finally escape. So she doesn't call herself a survivor. She called herself an escapee because she was never taken away. But she knew others who were, of course. And it was fascinating listening to her. I'm sure she might be passed away by now because this was an interview that was 20 years ago, and she was saying and this was 20 years ago. Right? And I wish they had gone into it more, but she said, they asked, what would you want to say to the people of today? And she said that I want you to be aware that it can happen here. And, she's talking about the United States. And she said we have all the pieces are in place, and it can happen here. And that was 20 years ago. So it was fascinating to me because I thought, I wonder, they didn't really go into it. Well, what do you mean? To point, what specifically are you talking about? But, I guess I can speculate. The extreme nationalism, the sexism, the targeting minority groups, the corrupted, kiss up, kick down government, the separating people from their government. That's what Republicans do. Let's see. Oh my God. Right. So let's see. Hold on. Just look. That's why I need a producer. Let me return to this article here. So the bonfire destroyed, and I read this, 20,000 books and 5,000 images, priceless trove of knowledge gone within minutes. At the same time, Nazis issued an edict against other books that offended their sensibilities, destroying the work of Jewish, pacifist, and progressive writers, including Albert Einstein and Karl Marx. And they're still railing against Karl Marx. And the only reason they're not railing against Albert Einstein is because it's not, seemly now. They don't want to be labeled anti-Semitic, but they'll rail against him. They'll use buzzwords, rail against George Soros, rail against, the blood libel. Hold on, this is Tarabuster with Tara Devlin. Me. Be right back. So we're reading an article from a gay magazine called The Hornet about how the attacks on trans people and the LGBTQ community in America has eerie similarities to the Nazis back when, where in the time that the Republicans, believe me, if this were 1930s Germany, we know what they would be doing. They wouldn't be the ones like saying, hey, wait a minute, guys, this isn't right. They would be organizing the book burning. They would be the ones painting the Jewish stars, the Stars of David, on Jewish businesses. You better believe. I mean, can't you see? Perjury Traitor Greene. I just saw some video of a bunch of Hitler Youth, of the female Hitler Youth, marching through the streets. Oh, and that's exactly what the woman was talking about. I should find this lady. I'll find the link and put it in the chat, because I was just watching it recently. Let me see if I can find it. But she was discussing how she was around a 15-year-old young girl when it started, or when when she really started to see the changes, and she was Jewish, but they weren't practicing. They just considered themselves German. Could you imagine it's just so unfathomable. And how the schools started to separate the Jewish children from the Aryan, quote-unquote, children. And then she discussed how there was this big picnic one day every year, and all the kids were all excited each year to have this big picnic. But this year, the only thing that the Jewish children could do, it's just so fucking horrific, was when they went to the picnic, they weren't allowed to eat. They weren't allowed to play any of the games. They just had to stand there and watch as everyone else ate and played the games. And she said that was the last day. Her parents, they were like, that's it. We're taking you out of school. But, and that she was describing how the kids all broke up into, they went into the Hitler Youth. And how the Hitler Youth had all kinds of perks, like, you got into the movies for free, and when you walked around in town, all the Hitler little Nazi little bastards everybody would have to stop. Traffic would stop to let you walk, go by. And it was just, a lot of perks for kids in the Hitler Youth. And could you imagine as a young person having all that power to get into the movies for free, to get things for free, and you're a big shot all of a sudden. And, the Jews, they had a comparable youth organization, but in which they kind of acted like the Hitler Youth, but of course they had none of the perks. But it was another way of separating them. It was just the whole thing it's so hard to believe, but also, of course, it's like, how could this have actually happened? But here we go. How could it have happened? It happens one unchallenged, ignorant statement at a time. It starts with words. The words that Perjury Traitor Greene says. That's how it happens. It starts like that, and then it turns into actual policy. And now we're in the actual policy stage. Because watching Perjury Traitor Greene and her speech, there's no one there's no one more ignorant than that bitch. And who is she to write laws about trans people? She doesn't know what the F she's talking about. She has her ignorant opinions, and she thinks they're facts. But we'll get to that in a second. But, if she really wanted to pass or be involved in legislation concerning trans people, she don't give a shit about trans people. She would talk to trans people. She would interview. She would have, she would get out of her QAnon bubble. But that's not what it's about. It's really the Republicans are using our government that so many actual patriots fought, bled, and died to entrust to us. They're using it to inflict their manias on the country, to make this country as disgustingly sick as they are so they can be comfortable in it. Because I guess for somebody like Perjury Traitor Greene, talking to a trans person, that must be uncomfortable. Learning something new for her is uncomfortable. Absorbing new information that conflicts with your cuckoo crazy views is, I guess, uncomfortable to her. So she'd rather have all of her cuckoo crazy views validated by, it's like a mirror. This is the thing. The Republicans, they have no ability to function in a diverse society. It's so obvious. That's why they want everybody in their place. I just saw this other video of one of these Republicans saying how God hates cities. Yeah, they really know a whole lot about what God hates. Except the things that he said he actually hates, right? He hates greed and selfishness. What was the sin of Sodom? It wasn't homosexuality, as these fucking fake Christians want to tell a lot of times. This is what they say. It was the sin of inhospitality, of being a bad neighbor, of not welcoming the stranger. That's what the sin of Sodom was. And these pricks, they're the hypocrites that Jesus warned us about. I mean, he even talked about them. So to continue, the article's almost over. So, yes, they burned books by Einstein and Karl Marx. Today, the site of the fire is commemorated with a glass pane and set in a cobblestone square showing empty bookshelves. A nearby plaque notes that the burning of the books is a prelude to the burning of people. And that's why Republicans, we have them on tape saying, I don't care. I don't know. What are you going to do with them? Burn them. I don't care if you burn them. Talking about books. Here in 2022 and 2023. Hirschfeld escaped the violence but died 2 years later in Paris before he was able to reestablish the Institute. The price of the May violence was incalculable. Not only were there volumes of research lost, but the actions of the Nazis further entrenched homophobia that would be widespread for decades to come. Even after the Allied victory, Germany's new government continued to oppress and persecute queer citizens, and that's pretty much par for the course throughout Western civilization and beyond. Because that's another thing. I remember years ago, there was I'm talking like 20 years ago. There was some Holocaust thing happening. I think it was before they built the Holocaust Museum. They were doing a tour of some of the artifacts, and it was coming to New York. And I remember it really pissed me off because they included gay, the gay victims of the Holocaust were included, of course, and the some of the what do you call it? Like the conservatives, the conservative community, the Jewish conservative community, pulled out and was boycotting this Holocaust exhibit because it included gay people. Isn't that, it's infuriating because, of course, I don't need to explain it to you, but they're exhibiting the same kind of hate that created the Holocaust to begin with. Right? Oh, they burned in the same, they died in the same camps, they burned in the same ovens, but we don't want anything to do with them. It's disgusting. But I guess it's a human thing, And hello, Mark C. Nice to see you, Mark. Yes, Mark C. says, Florida is a fetid swamp. I didn't read it right. Of fascism. Witness, they want to register blog sites with the state. You don't have to register a gun, right? But you have to register blog sites. Well, that goes to show you that, Republicans hate democracy. They hate America. The only profession enshrined in the Constitution as essential for democracy is the press. So, of course they hate the press or any semblance of it. That's why they love Fox News, which is nothing but a propaganda outlet. Like the Nazis loved the Der Stürmer. Hold on a second. All right, we're back on Apologetic Liberal Talk. If you're hanging out, come on over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster to hang out with the Tarabuster community. The greatest people on earth. Like Mark C. and Terry and Sage and Haiku and Errol and Jim and Richard W. and Kathy. Okay, who else is here? If I missed you, I will get you. And Ed, nice to see you all. And Tommy, nice to see you, Tommy. Yeah. And who else? I missed somebody here. Sage, hello, Bob. Nice to see you, Bob. Thank you for hanging out. It's very nice, everybody, to see you. Because, we need each other. This place is fucked up. We live in this... Where is JD? Our English friend. When I see JD, I'm like, damn... Why can't I be living where JD lives? What's wrong with you, Grandma? All right. I got to blame my grandma. Because she came here. That's what she did. My father was an anchor baby. My grandmother came here when she was extremely pregnant with my father. to have him here in the United States, so he would be born as an American citizen, and then she could come over. She wanted to come here. She deliberately wanted to come here. But then I always say, well, she came here when the United States had FDR. Right? Who could have blamed her? Who could have foreseen we'd have such a piece of dirt? You know? So like Kimberly Guilfoyle selling gold and silver at CPAC through KimsMetals. Isn't this incredible? It's absolutely disgusting. That's who they are, though, because it's a grift. They are all a bunch of grifters, and they look at, you know, and that's the thing with Kimberly Guilfoyle, when she said that, you know, everybody hates you or whatever. Wait, hold on. Why can't I fucking get it? Here we go.
And I want to make sure that you guys know about Gold Code. Don Jr.'s been talking about it. Gold and silver can protect your retirement savings from inflation and dollar devaluation. And owning tangible, physical, inflation hedging gold and silver can help diversify your portfolio. You've got to have a diversified portfolio. Everybody knows that.
Yes, everybody.
And Gold Co. has helped thousands of Americans diversify and protect their retirement savings. Support companies who support you. It makes sense, doesn't it? Instead of supporting woke companies who hate you and use...
Supporting woke companies who hate you. Well, the woke companies are actually giving you what you pay for. They sell you whatever it might be, and a Disney something or other, some kind of fantasy, whatever. They go to their amusement parks, or you watch their stupid shows about princesses and shit, or magical whatever the hell's. You're getting something out of it. You're not being sold a bunch of magic beans, but that's what they're selling these people. So who hates you more? Nobody hates the MAGAMORONs more than the Trump family, the Trump crime family. They hate them. Just like I say all the time with the Republicans. Nobody hates the Republican base more than the Republican Party. They hate them. How can you hate? I mean, how can you respect somebody who is... it's basically your doormat. They don't respect the average Joe moron. Look at what they do to them. They count on their ignorance. They lie to them. They tell them that they're under attack. They get them all worked up about bullshit. They get them twisted and fighting other Americans. People just want to have a peaceful life. You just want to hang out, play some music, write a couple of poems, walk on a beach or something, whatever. What's the fucking meaning of life? Excuse my language. What is the meaning of life? You only have this short period of time. Spend it with your loved ones. Hang out. Take a dog for a walk. Rescue a few animals. Do some good. Hang out with your loved ones. Go see your family, whatever. I mean, that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be twisted and going to attack the Capitol and ending up in jail because you're a stupid dumbass and you believe a con man and now you're a traitor. Right? But this is what Republicans do, and they continue to lie to them. Why? Because they respect them? They respect their base? No, they hate their base. Their base are nothing but suckers. The base are nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard. They don't do anything for the base, for them. What are they doing for them? They're trying to come for their socialist security. They want them to die. They like when Republicans, I mean, it's like Hearst Vessel, right? And Ashley Babbitt. They love that Ashley Babbitt is dead. They love that dumb bitch got herself so worked up and bought the filth and the lies coming out of their grifter lie holes. They love that. Now they could exploit her as a martyr. They exploited her in life. They twisted her up in life. And now they can exploit her in death. And they love that. You know, so now she's a hero. They're all a bunch of heroes, right? And yeah, and this is a problem. It's not like, you know, and the other thing I have to tell you, and you probably know already, the similarities. Here's another similarity between what we're dealing with now and what happened in Nazi Germany in the build-up to Nazis taking over, is that a lot of people dismissed Hitler as just a buffoon and the Nazis as a bunch of thugs, a bunch of buffoons. No one will ever really, truly buy into it. They will never really, truly get power. But look at them. Look at what happened. And by the time they were done, you know, what was it, 65 million human beings had to die? See, because fascism, it doesn't end well, ever. Even for the fascists, it doesn't end well. Because it's anti-human. It's just only so long you can sustain it. You have to have a targeted minority group, of course. Maybe a few. Always an enemy. Always under attack. But what are you doing? What are these Republicans? I mean, it's the same thing. That's why we laugh at them. Of course but we should take them seriously too. Corporate media, I'm talking to you, because it's not normal. You shouldn't just report on them like they're a rational choice. They're not. This is, you know, they're the canary in the coal mine. And we're choking on the fumes. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Like, the other day I was telling you, we played the clip of Jamie Raskin going back at Lauren, banned from the bowling alley, Boebert, for her, again, not using the name of the Democratic Party. And they do it all the time. This has been going on for years. It's so damn tedious. But it proves me right. You know, they say Democrat Party. This is how they throw up their gang signs, and they recognize each other as the morons that they are. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a moron too. Yeah, high five. Democrat Party, right? And, you know, Jamie Raskin is right, because, well, maybe I'll play it. Hold on. Do I have it? Because he was saying how, you know, let's play it.
I want to just clear up a couple things. First, I heard the very distinguished gentlelady from Colorado mention job creators. I assume she was responding to President Biden, since 12 million new jobs have been created under President Biden, whereas millions of jobs were lost under the prior president, who may be a favorite of the gentleladies. I also wanted to make just a brief semantic point, because the gentlelady was making a grammatical error that I heard some of her colleagues make before. I believe she referred to a Democrat solution. I heard another member talk about a Democrat member and a Democrat plan. I just wanted to educate our distinguished colleagues that Democrat is the noun. When you use it as an adjective, you say the Democratic member, or the Democratic solution, or the Democratic plan. And so I assume it's a good faith grammatical error the first few times. But after people are corrected several times and they continue to say it, it seems like it's an act of incivility. As if every time we mentioned the other party, it just came out with a kind of political speech impediment, like, oh, the Banana Republican Party. As if we were to say that every time we mentioned the Banana Republican member, or the Banana Republican plan, or the Banana Republican Conference. But we wouldn't do that. So out of pure political courtesy, when it's an adjective, refer to the Democratic Congresswoman or the Democratic member. Having said that, I'd like to say that I favor the Boebert amendment. I think it's really the Raskin amendment because none of them apparently caught the fact that their reporting requirement wasn't to be published until I told them. I actually read the bill and I said, you know, there's no publication of it. So this amendment follows through on the fact that I pointed out to them that their bill didn't even call for publication of the inflation information.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So what he's talking about is that Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert, their inflation, you know, they were like, stay tuned, we have a solution to inflation or whatever. And their solution or something, whatever, something to combat inflation is that every time Joe Biden or any president signs an executive order, it has to say on the bottom how it impacts inflation, how this order what will it do to inflation, as if executive orders have anything to do with inflation. Of course, you know, Republicans, they suck. They can't govern. But the bill that they wrote, because they are so ineffectual and they suck, and and banned from the bowling alley Boebert, for example, has a high school education and only just not even, you know, passed the GED after 3 times. I mean, they're lazy, so they don't do it correctly. And that's why there's always so many misspellings and whatnot on their documents, because they don't do due diligence. And they passed this, or whatever, I guess the bill was passed around, and Jamie Raskin noticed that they didn't even do it properly to make so it would even be less, he shouldn't have said anything, frankly, but it would mean that whatever this bill is, it wouldn't get published anyway. So it would be, you know, completely useless as they are. So in the bill, it doesn't even say anything about how you publish it. You know what I'm trying to say. So and this is what Jamie Raskin pointed out to them.
They thought was so essential. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to support the Boebert amendment because I think I'm the genesis of it. And with that, I'm happy to yield back.
Well, here we go. Here's her response.
The gentleman yields back.
The
gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized.
Is she gentle?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do just want to take a few seconds to respond. That was great. You know, we are addressed as MAGA extremists, extreme MAGA Republicans, and I would like to make just a clarification point. It's ultra MAGA. That's what we prefer. Yes, and but also. Mr. Ranking Member, reclaiming my time, Mr. Ranking Member, I am very happy that you have moved on from pronouns to adjectives. And, you know, when you guys start acting democratic, I'll be sure to call you democratic.
Oh, is that your excuse? When you start acting democratic? Well, when you start acting like the Republican Party and not the Republicon Party, I'll start calling you Republicans. When you stop acting like a coup enabling, kiss up, kick down, autocrat, Putin puppet party, I'll start calling you Republicans again. It's like, you know, I know you are, but what am I? This is the Republican Party. This is who they are now. You know, infants, babies who have no business being in the halls of power. It's like her saying, I'll call you the Democratic Party when you start acting democratic. Well, tell us how, show us what that means. You have an example? I mean, the Democratic Party is the only party that wants to expand voting and not prevent people from voting. I mean, like Republicans do. The Democratic Party is the only party that wants to make sure that gerrymandering is that gerrymandering is a thing of the past. That was in the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. But Republicans can't, people like Lauren banned from the bowling alley, she wouldn't have a seat without gerrymandering. Barely did it at that. So there's only one party that's pro-democracy. There's only one party that believes in the peaceful transfer of power. So what are you talking about when you start acting democratic? I mean, it is incivility, and that's why they have to keep saying, "Oh, the gentle lady from the bowling alley" or whatnot. It's and Jamie Raskin is definitely right to point it out, because I'm tired of it too. I know you are, but they should all point it out. There should be some consequences for these schoolyard bully taunts in the halls of Congress, when there's supposed to be a rule about civility, and that's the truth. That's why they can't go after each other. They have to direct their comments to the chair. They can't say anything personal to someone, and that's why they have to put up all this gentle lady from the bowling alley bullshit, right? And something should be done about it. How are they allowed to go on the House floor and the Senate floor and not call you by your name? The simplest, the most basic act of respect is to call somebody by their name, to call them what they want to be called. It's not that hard. It's like somebody saying to me, "Oh, your name is Tara. I'm going to call you Tara Tattoo. Tara 2. I don't know. What's annoying? I'm going to call you Tama 2. Because when you start acting like a Tara, I'll call you Tara. Whatever that means. It's fucking disrespectful. When you start, and oh my God, her legally and peacefully face. She's always so. When you start acting democratic, I will call you that. Really? When you start acting democratic? And what does that look like? Coming from somebody who tweeted the location of the Speaker of the House when the rioters, when the insurrectionists were in the House after breaking windows and taking dumps in the hall, chanting "Hang Mike Pence," and there goes Lauren Band from the bowling alley tweeting the location of the Speaker of the House. The Speaker has left the building, wherever the hell she's at. Why would you do that? If it looks like a traitor and tweets like a traitor, it's a traitor. Why are you tweeting out the location of the Speaker? It makes no sense other than that she was in on the coup. She wanted the Speaker of the House to be attacked by a mob. When you act democratic, I will act. When will you act like a representative, like a normal person? Hold on. Yes, I see that on the chat. Mark, she says, the idiot in the back of Boebert thought she was being clever. Yeah, he smiled. It doesn't take much over there. This is a crowd that wants to say the N-word on Twitter. They're not free unless they can say the N-word. And they're very excited now that the bird is free. The bird is free. I could say the N-word. Look at me. N-word. Ah! That's who they are. I hate them legally and peacefully. And you know what else I hate? Here's the thing. I just hate I hate pretending that they're not the enemies that the founders warned us about, the domestic enemies, that I took an oath, and many others, to protect and defend the Constitution from. I don't know if that oath ever really subsides. Isn't that kind of a lifelong thing? Protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't know. That's who they are. Enemies, foreign and domestic. That's why we have laws against sedition in this country, because we've had seditionists try to overthrow this country numerous times now. And they're here. You know, we trace the call. It's coming from inside the House of Representatives. They're a bunch of traitors. Why? I mean, we could ask these questions. Why don't they want to go under oath? Why don't they want to give their phones to the FBI or the Justice Department? Why won't they release their, all of the information that we need to exonerate them from their being a bunch of traitors on January 6th? Because they're in on it. Why are you seeking pardons on January 6th? That's there's a whole bunch of them. Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, the Perjury Traitor Greene. 3 days after being sworn in, she's begging the con man for a pardon. You don't beg for a pardon if you didn't do anything wrong. Why do you need a pardon? You're not like, hey, can I get a pardon? For what? If you're just sitting around minding your own business, why would you need a pardon? Unless you know you broke the law. If you were right, like if I thought that the election was stolen and I did my part to stop it, right? If I legitimately thought the election was legitimately stolen and I did everything in my power to ensure that the right person took power, why would you ask for a pardon? You know? You only ask for a pardon when you know you did something wrong. If you did everything in your power to save democracy, supposedly, why are you asking for a pardon? It doesn't make any sense. What it says is you have a conscience of guilt, and you know that you broke the law. You know that the con man didn't win. You know that. They all knew it. And, it doesn't matter because they hate America, like the Nazis. Unfortunately, they are like the Nazis in so many ways, including the way that they tried the violence, and now they're going for the legal route. And that's exactly what Hitler did. First, they tried the beer hall, the putsch, and they threw the book at Hitler. Much more than they're doing to our traitors. So we should be alarmed there. At least Hitler went to jail, right? There's no accountability for the con man, for our wannabe dictator. And if you don't think that Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in general, look at them. They have no honor. They have no integrity. They hate democracy. I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's not about, mom, apple pie. They hate democracy. They hate democracy. It is to them, and some of them are openly saying it. And this is, for thousands of years, democracy was a dirty word. And now we have outright fascists who are openly saying this. And they got all kinds of stars and eagles and flags. Nick Fuentes is one of them. He had dinner with the con man. Oh, they said that they threw him out of CPAC. That's only because it doesn't look good. That's the game Hitler played too. That's another thing. Hitler went all over Germany. After they even barred Hitler from speaking. And when he got out of prison, he wasn't allowed to speak for, was it 2 years, I think? 5 years, 2 years? Hitler speaking ban. Right? But here we go. Right? It's the same thing like Trump on Twitter or whatever. He's not allowed to speak. He's not allowed to go on Facebook. But, the threat has subsided. And then he started speaking again. Hitler, and then he went all over. And the other thing that's similar, the constant rallying with these morons. You know? Here's the one thing that that Nazis need is a terrible economy. That's probably one saving grace. You know, Joe Biden is creating record jobs, and we have a record low unemployment rate, and that's why you see that our fascists, our filthy fascists, the Republicans, just harping on anything negative. They just hate everything. Everything sucks in America to them. They want you to think that everything sucks. And trust me, if, God forbid, they get into power, you know what's going to happen? It'll be from one day to the next, it will be everything sucks to everything's great. But there'll be no difference. It's like the con man inheriting Barack Obama's booming economy. And what did he say? Oh, when I was given a disaster. There was nothing but roaches and smoldering ruins when he got into the office despite receiving fewer votes. You know, American carnage. But that was bullshit. Truth has no currency in a fascist state. There's no, the fascists tell you what's true. Everything sucked. Now it's great. Doesn't matter what's real. As you notice, nothing matters. And they use the system, they use the mechanisms of government to promote their agenda while saying everyone else is biased. They're promoting their agenda. They're weaponizing government against us. Always biased against us. And I'm sure you saw Jim Jordan and his ridiculous committee on the weaponization of government, bringing so-called whistleblowers up. And this is how they corrupt government, you see. Because a whistleblower is an actual thing. You know, there's a process to become a whistleblower. You have to go and you literally have to go and register and say, I have some, information about some workings or inner doings in this government, not just government, but corporation or whatever it might be. And, you have to go register as a whistleblower. Then you become a whistleblower and you get whistleblower protection. But what does Jim Jordan have? No, he doesn't have whistleblowers. He's got a bunch of kooks with an axe to grind. That's not a whistleblower. Oh man, it's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. Guys, we got more show. YouTube.com/CFA-channel/Tarabuster. We will win. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Keep this show going and growing. Tell your friends. Give the show a good review on iTunes. Please, I'm begging you. It helps. It helps, damn it. Because this is independent liberal media. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. If you like that kind of show, support it. Or you can have more CPAC. It's your choice. There you go. But you saw that, so here's from Common Dreams. Watchdogs call BS on whistleblower status from Jim Jordan's FBI witnesses. Legitimate whistleblowers must be protected, and these witnesses are not legitimate, said one critic. This is Julia Conley writes, government watchdogs on Friday accused Republicans and this is what I mean, Republicans. They use, hey, they're coming out, they're going to pantomime, whistleblower, it's explosive. Accused Republicans on the U.S. House Judiciary Committee of illegitimate theatrics as Democrats released a 300-page report outlining major weaknesses in the GOP's investigation into supposed political bias and the FBI. Chairman Jim Jordan is leading a probe into the anti-Republican bias at the Law Enforcement Bureau and has claimed that his party has heard from dozens and dozens of whistleblowers, which is ridiculous and bullshit, about how the FBI has been weaponized against the right. But having heard the testimonies of 3 witnesses, the Democrats said that they can confidently say that the people selected by the GOP are not, in fact, whistleblowers. These individuals who put forward a wide range of conspiracy theories did not present any actual evidence of any wrongdoing at the Department of Justice or the FBI, reads the Democrats' reports. The report outlines the testimony given by retired FBI analyst George Hill, suspended former FBI agent Garrett O'Boyle, and former special agent Stephen Friend. The 3 witnesses failed to offer convincing evidence of wrongdoing at the agency. And unlike whistleblowers who risk their careers and personal safety to alert the public about malfeasance in the government or corporation, their testimonies appear to be the result of an active engagement, and orchestration of disturbing outside influences on the witnesses. A network of organizations led by former Trump administration officials like Kash Patel and Russell Vought appears to have identified these witnesses, provided them with financial compensation. See, they're getting paid, and found them employment after they left the FBI, reads the report. They have a story to tell, and they appear to be using the House Republicans to tell it. For example, Friend said he was given $5,000 in November of 2022 by an organization run by Patel, who served as acting chief of staff for the Defense Department under the asshole Donald Trump. Patel also connected him with the Center for Renewing America, a right-wing think tank. Oh, this country is like... It's like these right-wing think tanks are like pocketing, where are they? They're all over the country like a bunch of pimples that need to be popped legally and peacefully. Friend claimed that the FBI did not follow its own operating procedures in investigations it opened in January of 2020 into the January 6, 2020 attack on the Capitol. But as Politico reported, he wilted when actually pressed for details and has no first-hand knowledge of any abuses. He just thought, it's like Perjury Traitor Greene. She just feels it's bad. She just feels like she knows what she's talking about. Incredible. O'Boyle also said he had received financial support from Patel before testifying, that FBI agents were pressured to open January 6 cases and to keep them open. In his testimony to the committee, he admitted that he was never threatened or retaliated against for closing a case in which he found insufficient evidence. So, what are you fucking doing? What are you there for? You're wasting our time. That's Republicans. Jim Jordan got some clips, though, for his podcast, probably, out of it. And he spent another day at the office getting his whatever he gets, $14,000 a month. Or more, assuredly. At the end of the day, you exercised your judgment, and you weren't. There were no consequences for that. As far as I know, Boyle replied, "Shut up, you bitch. As far as I know." Maybe? You see, I don't know. Maybe they were attacking me. But I never knew. What you don't know doesn't hurt you, though, does it? The former agent does not show a violation of any law, rule, or regulation, or gross mismanagement, a gross waste of funds, or an abuse of authority, or a substantial and specific danger to public health or safety. Rather, this appears to be a situation in which two special agents engaged in dialogue regarding a case process. The three witnesses have also demonstrated support for numerous conspiracy theories regarding January 6th and COVID-19. These fucking boring, tedious. Oh my God. It never stops. I mean, go to sleep. Everyone in the fascist right, just take a nap. Get some sleep or something. You're goddamn tired. Jeez. With Hill tweeting at various times that the insurrection was a setup and that the FBI are the brown shirt enforcers of the Democratic Party, and that Boyle comparing COVID vaccines to the actions of the Reserve Police Battalion 101. That's the police battalion we talk about in that book, Ordinary Men, by Christopher Browning. A Nazi police force. It looks like if he read that book, he didn't learn a damn thing. The witnesses have also questioned the validity of the 2020 election. Oh, go to hell, Republicans, really. Because I'm sick of you bringing me there. Just go to hell alone. The report shows that three witnesses the House majority referred to as whistleblowers have offered little knowledge of broken laws and wrongdoing. Unreal. Well, there you go. In an attempt to prove their weaponization allegations, Republicans have turned to three individuals who have not only failed to provide any evidence of wrongdoing, but are also lacking entirely in credibility. Well, that's all of them. That's who they look to for leadership. If you have zero credibility, zero integrity, then you're like their golden calf. Are you kidding me? They love no integrity and no experience, no integrity, and just no honor. If you're willing to say and do anything to pervert the course of humanity, they want you in their party. And then just go to KimberlyMetals.com, KimsMetals.com. Right? They want you in their party, especially if you have zero integrity, will say anything, will believe any bullshit, and if you go to KimsMetals.com on top of it, then you're like a triple threat. And they want you. They love you. Are you kidding me? They hate you, really, but they love you're so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, and of course, at the CPAC, everything was woke, woke, woke. But here's the thing. Let me just read this quickly. This is from The Independent. We asked conservatives at CPAC what woke means. Their replies were revealing. Because it's, let me remind everybody that they are only using this anti-woke shit because it is another dog whistle. It tickles racist funny bones. And woke goes back to, it's from the African American community. So of course they take that saying and they turn it into something to vilify. So let's see. Presidential hopeful Nikki Haley said that I'm running for president to renew America that's proud and strong. Not weak and woke. What's weak about woke? What's weak about leaving no one behind? About giving a shit about others? E pluribus unum. What would they say about pledging your life, fortune, and sacred honor to each other? Wouldn't that be a little woke? That sounds a little woke to me. I pledge my life, my fortune? That means my money, like $20 to sacred honor. They're very confused because they have no honor, sacred or otherwise. Marlene Laska, a conservative activist from Pennsylvania who attended the conference, has a broad definition of what woke means. That's a loaded question, she said. It covers so many things, and that's the point. See, it's like critical race theory. Critical race theory is everything you don't want to learn, and it has something to do about somebody who's not you. It has darker pigment than you, and then that's critical race theory, so that sucks. Right? And you can't, nobody's ever going to tell you. Because freedom! Freedom! Spelled with a D-U-M-B. She specifically cited environmental and social governance investing practices, the children and the schools, and trying to make the transgender. This fucking bitch. What? And it came to so many things which is wrong in this country. That's a direct quote. The children and the schools, and trying to make the transgender. And it came to so many things which is wrong in this country. Go home, Republicans. Just go. Go home, shutter your CPAC, shut out the lights, pull the blinds, go the fuck home and take a nap. You're tired. You're tired. The Independent also criticizing she told The Independent also criticizing the rainbow flag in classrooms. To me, the word woke is an antithesis of everything that America was founded on. Like what? Like, racism and misogyny? No. Oh, if you want to go back to what we were founded on, your ass would be home. You wouldn't be able to be at CPAC voting. You wouldn't be able to vote. So fuck off. Things change. But the spirit of pledging your life, fortune, and sacred honor, the spirit of e pluribus unum is what should be our touchstone, don't you think? Not for these fuckers. That's too woke. What do you think e pluribus unum? We should ask these people, what do you think of the saying, out of many, one? I think that's socialism. That's too woke. Do you think that the statement, you just twist it up a little? You just, out of many, one? What would you think? That's why Republicans always say the national motto of America is "In God We Trust." They always say that, which is a lie. It's because they hate America. You get it? Because they really do hate America. They hate the nation of immigrants. They hate the national motto. They hate that we are a diverse country. They hate it. They hate it. They want everybody in their place, and they want big white daddy. It doesn't matter if he's a con man selling you magic beans. They'll buy those magic beans. They'll eat those magic beans and ask for seconds. They'll lap it up. As long as you know your place. Everybody in their place. All the peepees in the proper attire. You can, and then if you don't want to get in the PP's proper attire, they'll beat the shit out of you, and that will make them feel good. You know, they'll make some camps. They'll give you some jobs at the camps. As long as they can hate on someone else, and they're fine. Let's see. Killing woke means it's like a garden. You're getting rid of the weeds that the things you actually want to grow can, she said. I'm reading this verbatim, all right? Killing woke means it's like a garden. You're getting rid of the weeds so that the things you actually want to grow can. In the instance of Florida, he's talking about industry and our economics and our education, which you have none. I added that. And all those things that we want to thrive can actually thrive because we've choked the weeds. You've choked them, and then you told them it's only a shower, and they went up into the chimney, and that was the end. And everything was beautiful after you choked them. I think there's a better way to say it, she said. Ms. Rokfin said that people did not need to use the word woke to discuss racism. I think there's a better way to say it, she said. Racism exists. Oh, well, that's damn woke. I don't think it's depending on the area and what we're talking about, it could be a major problem. Could be a minor problem. I don't think it's necessary to say stay woke. Yeah, because you want to tell people what to say. Now, stay woke is off the list. You can't say stay woke. To be concerned, I don't think it's necessary to say stay woke to be concerned about any racism that exists in America. Woke means more than just racism. Oh my God. Ms. Rokfin. So the word woke is when you recognize that maybe you're doing... Wait. Oh, no, I'm doing a voice on somebody that shouldn't have a voice. That's normal people. So the word woke... see, because the whole point is woke goes back to... it has a historical history. A historical history, you see? I'm talking real good now. It's got a history. It goes, I'm trying to read it here. I'm trying to find it, Sacking the Woke Playbook. I thought I found it. Maybe this is the wrong article. Because there was an article I was looking at that had the history, because it goes back to many years, to like the 40s. The word the phrase stay woke is an anti-racist slogan. But that's why Republicans hate it. You see. And which is why we need to continue to use it. So... here's another clip from CPAC that says everything about Republicans. This guy is running for president. I can't remember his name. It doesn't really matter. But let's listen.
I am anti-China. They are killing us.
Okay, anti-China. They're killing us. Applause, applause, applause.
I do not trust Putin. And by the way...
Silence. Do you understand? Republicans are the enemies of democracy. They are pro-Putin. Just like Putin wants to destroy democracy, so does Fox News, Tucker Carlson, Perjury Traitor Greene, Lauren banned from the bowling alley, Boebert, all of them, the right-wingers, they want to destroy democracy. And they're saying that some of the Republicans are standing with Ukraine and some are not. They recognize the danger that Putin is. But those voices are getting drowned out now by the base. And we played a clip in the last show of Ted Cruz saying that wearing a Ukrainian flag is now considered virtue signaling to Republican. Oh, yeah, that's a virtue signal. Which is what? That you are pro-democracy and not and anti-fascist? Anti-authoritarian? Like, that used to be also another word for that was American. Patriot. Well, I just wanted to, what do you call it? I don't know what the word is. Just stress the fact that the Republicans are, they're a threat. They are a fascist threat. And if nothing says fascist threat more than the fact that Perjury Traitor Greene she's like a hero to these pricks now. She's a leader. You know, the Jewish space laser bitch. The one who thinks, you know, that, or thought that there was no plane in the Pentagon and all this, like all the other cuckoo conspiracy theories that Sandy Hook was a false flag and, you know, this crazy shit is now a lead, not just a fringe element in the House. She's a leader. She's got more power than Kevin McCarthy, weaker speaker.
Thank you. Well, welcome back to Maryland, CPAC.
Isn't she like a rake on a chalkboard?
We're so excited to be here, and this is such an important time for conservatives to come together.
It's such an important... Where the fuck does that come from? Important. Shut up. Important. It's such an important time. Important. What an embarrassment these people are. It's such an important time out there. Where the fuck did she, like, where did these people come from? That's what I'm saying, like I was saying in the beginning of the show. We thought it was going to get bad when we had Sarah Palin. Now we have a whole House of Representatives filled with them, with Sarah Palins. Important.
The left has told us something that should put fear in the heart of every parent, and not just parents, every
important
single
parents.
Person.
Oh.
They've said they're coming for our children.
Oh, eat my ass, lady. Legally and peacefully.
Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to kids, I think the Republican Party has a duty. We have a responsibility.
Why don't you flush your duty down the toilet where it belongs? Protect the children by starving them and making their parents not have living wages, health care, retirement security, a day off, a sick day, vacation, and schools that suck. We need to protect the children by ensuring that they are nothing but serfs, that the rich get richer, and that the working class remains the working poor. We protect them. That's our duty.
Die in Ukraine.
Oh yeah, what a bitch. She's like, our children aren't dying, and see, because she hates no Americans are fighting unless they want to in Ukraine. There's no selective service going to Ukraine. Whatever. And it's just the point that she hates democracy. Exactly. Mark on the chat. It's a very intimate gathering because
he wants our sons and daughters to go die in Ukraine.
Oh, that's the new Republican talking point. Well, fascist talking point, because he didn't say that. He said, we're fighting in Ukraine, so your sons and daughters don't have to fight. That's what he said. But they take everything out of context and then they exploit it because they love Putin. Trust me, she loves that she's on Putin's state propaganda. And I'm sure this speech will be on there too. Because she's a traitor.
Whether it's the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir literally singing "We're coming for your children."
Boo!
Or it's a new disturbing ideology that tells the most incredible lie that children can actually change their gender before they've even grown up, before they've even finished puberty, before they've developed into an adult, before they're old enough to vote, before they're old enough to graduate from high school, before they're old enough to even get a tattoo, put ink permanently on their skin, before they're old enough to buy nicotine, before they're old enough to buy alcohol, before they even graduate from high school, many of them before they drive a car. Now, when I ran for Congress, I thought I was running for Congress to rein in the out-of-control spending in Washington, to defend our southern border, to
eat my own ass in public and let you all lick it.
Government, more control.
Excuse me.
To stop
I can't help
funding
it.
foreign wars that never do
foreign
anything for
wars,
America,
except when Putin wants us to go and do something to.
Or with PTSD.
You know, if Donald J. Trump was president, we would have no fighting in Ukraine because Ukraine would already be in Putin's hands. Because we would already have helped Putin destroy that little pesky democracy.
Thought I was fighting for conservative values to support businesses and give our kids a future.
Future? What kids? What about trans kids? What about trans kids, bitch? What about LGBTQ kids, bitch? What about kids who aren't of who have darker pigment, bitch? No, those kids don't count. You see? It's all the children, the children. This is fascism, ladies and gentlemen. This is fascism.
Sworn in Congress, and we voted on the rules package, and that was last Congress. Our speaker was Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi. Boo! Boo! Boo!
And to my shock, we had a new rule in our rules package.
Get Nancy Pelosi's name out of your mouth. Nancy Pelosi. You know, Nancy Pelosi, I got my issues with her, as we know, but she will go down in history as an effectual leader. What are they going to say about you, Perjury? Except you'll be like Ilsa of the SS. What do they call her? Well, that was the movie, but there was there was a Nazi. They called her the beautiful beast of Belsen. Not that Perjury is beautiful, but I have seen some right-wingers say she's hot. Is she hot? No, I don't think she's hot at all because beauty comes from the inside. No matter what, she's rotten. She's a rotten soul. A rotten waste of human DNA that has a platform.
And that was, there was no more gender. You couldn't say family names, mother,
Bullshit.
father, sister, brother.
Bullshit. She's talking about gender inclusive language or inclusive language. Like I'm a member of the Soka Gakkai, the lay Buddhist organization. We chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You guys know that. And I could say proudly that, we have different divisions, and there's a youth division, there's a men's division, women's division, whatever. And then a young woman's division, young men's division. But they also have it's called the Young Women and Non-Binary division. So, it's inclusive. So people can feel seen, and it's not, it's nothing bad. It's actually good. It's beautiful, frankly. Because there's one person who's non-binary. So they changed the whole name of the division. Because it was like, oh, okay. Well, there are all kinds of people that we want to recognize as having, everyone has value. We're all in this together. So what fucking skin off your ass is it to call people what they are and what they want to be called? They're non-binary. If they're trans, I hope, my God, I hope there's reincarnation. I really do. And I hope that this Perjury Traitor Greene bitch comes back as a trans person. Really, I really do. In a Republican household. I really do. And you better believe that if she's speaking to this sparsely attended audience, there are some people who are trans in that audience. There could be in the closet, the gay closeted people, trans closeted people. Who knows? And they're probably deciding what, to fake it yet just for another day. Because it's so, they want to be accepted. And all their friends are into this Perjury Traitor Greene bitch, and they live in some shithole red state. So they keep going on, they keep, they have no whatever. They stay in the closet. It's like Matt Schlapp. Case in point. Alex Jones. They're all twisted. And they go through life hating others, inflicting their manias outward because of people like her. And I mean, what is her damage?
You couldn't acknowledge he, she, him,
bullshit.
Her, because gender was no longer in existence.
Oh,
we had a big fight on the Equality Act where I ended up putting
erased
a sign
it all.
outside my office door that said
fight.
There's only two genders, male and female. Trust the science.
Trust the science. Trust the science, bitch. That your gender your gender is not in your pee-pee. Trust the science. You pee-pee obsessed
But who
freak.
knew this would become an even bigger battle? But then
Who knew that you would have an even bigger mouth?
That is turning into a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Billions, zillions, like the billions crossing the border.
Victim. You see, their target is not adults.
Oh my God, I hate her.
Adults can choose what they want to do. This isn't about adults. We're talking about people under the age of 18. Their target for their multi-billion-dollar industry are children. And everyone knows that when you're growing up, think about it. How many times did you say when you're a kid you wanted to be a fireman or a doctor or a police officer? Or you wanted to be something when you're an adult, but when you grew up, you became something else. My favorite thing to say that I did become when I was growing up is I wanted to be a mom. And thankfully, I am a mom.
Oh, well, look at that. So you mean that sometimes kids do know? Because that's the way it is. It's not like a kid is like, Mommy, I'm not, I'm a little girl or I'm a little boy. And then the next day they go and they have a sex friggin' change or whatever, or gender, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they do. It's not that. That's not how it happens. But this bitch who doesn't have a clue, who has no idea the pain she inflicts on families she knows nothing about, on children she knows nothing about, and just like a Nazi. That's the way the Nazis were. Protecting the children. We got to protect the children, don't you know? From the future is going to be brilliant when all of these undesirables are put to death. They're just gone. We don't know. Whatever. They're up in smoke. Just erase them. Well, funny thing, they won't be erased. But this bitch wants more children to kill themselves. That's what she wants. When she knows nothing, she's like, well, even when kids who can't drive, who can't drink, and they can't get a tattoo, that now they're getting, they're becoming boys or becoming girls, and girls are becoming boys. And they get their breasts cut off. And that's what she's saying. Girls get their breasts cut off. Well, they're not girls, bitch. If it's gotten to the point where they're getting gender affirming care, and it doesn't happen when you're a child. If you knew anything, you would know that. But you're a monster and a Nazi, And it doesn't matter what the truth is. You will vilify a targeted minority to achieve a political goal because, you know, that's the way Nazis roll. But she's like, I wanted to be a mom my whole life, and thankfully I am a mom. Oh, well, you're the exception then, who knew what they wanted when they were young? God help us. Thank you guys for hanging out. Please become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. We will win. Check out APS Radio News to support Tarabuster sponsors. Oh, give the show a good review on iTunes, like and share. Come back, keep coming back. It works if you work it, so work it. You're worth it and live it. We stick together, we win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. My name is Tara Devlin. I will see you soon. All right. Unreal. I can feel the anger in my stomach. I'm telling you. I know, Mark on the chat. Wouldn't it be karmic justice if just one of her kids turned out to be gay? Exactly. I hope so. And, you know, I mean, look at Ted Cruz's kid. She tried to hurt herself. And then you have, what's her name? Kellyanne Conway's kid, who was like, my mom's a fucking psycho. Where's the producer? Errol, I put the producer in the bedroom earlier when he started out early in the show, getting very bossy with me. I couldn't deal with it. I'm sure he's sitting by the door in the bedroom. As soon as I open the door, he'll come out like, meow. Meow, what are you doing? You locked me in the bedroom with Ray. My nemesis, Ray. All right, listen. It's so I can't even. That's why I need you guys, because I had to watch CPAC today. It was a nightmare. I felt like I was having a surrealistic nightmare. I was like, where do I live? What year is this? And then I had the corporate media on over my shoulder, you see, the TV. I have the corporate media on during the day. I'm usually got one eye on it, watching things on the computer here. But I have the corporate media on in the background to see what they're up to. And then they're going to CPAC interviewing these people like they're normal? Like they're normal. Like, oh, what do you think about Trump? He's just a normal kind of guy, right? That anyone would vote for if they wanted low taxes on the rich and deregulation, right? That's all it's about. I know. That's why I'm all cranky. What? It was a horror show. They're just so horrible. Most horrible people. God. And that's the thing. I don't know why the corporate media has to give them, a platform. Wait, now that I'm saying this, hold on a second. I saw something else. I was going to talk about it, but of course time flies. Let me see if I can find this. Because I was, Perjury Traitor Greene. Her terrible, horrible. Okay, hold on. Appearance at CPAC. And so what the hell was I looking at? I'm just trying to find it. Because it was a Yahoo, oh, here it is. I found it. It pissed me off. I should have talked about this too. But time flies. So on Yahoo Life, it's just that they reposted, I suppose, an article from Fox News that said Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wait, hold on. I'll show you. See, it says Marjorie Taylor Greene, GOP must be the party that protects children from transgender ideology. So this is her thing now. You know, she's become the anti-trans warrior. And trust me, that's not going to age well. But in the meantime, many people are going to get hurt. She will hurt as many people as she can. So the article goes on. The Republican Party needs to defend children from anyone who supports the idea of allowing young children to remove body parts and take dangerous chemicals in the pursuit of the lie that they can change genders. Representative Perjury Traitor Greene, Republican of Georgia, told the Conservative Political Action Conference on Friday. The Republican Party has a duty, Greene said. We have a responsibility, and that is to be the party that protects children. Greene said that children are under assault from a disturbing ideology that tells the most incredible lie. Why am I talking about her like that? That children can actually change. That's the way. That's the imitation she needs. Let me see if I can do it. That tells the most incredible lie. That children can. You got to picture flames licking the back of my head. That children can actually change their gender. She said that children are being rushed into gender transformation decisions before they are allowed to get a tattoo, and before they are even allowed to vote or hit puberty, which is such a lie. Greene said that the transgender movement has been endorsed by Democrats for years. Yes, because we're human beings, not monsters. Said that in her first term in Congress, when Democrats controlled the House, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi passed a rule saying lawmakers would not refer to gender as they worked on legislation. To my shock, we had a new rule in the rules package. And that was, there's no more gender. And you couldn't say family names. Mother, father, sister, brother. Greene said. She said support for transgender ideology is only hurting kids and hurting the most vulnerable. Okay, the reason I'm reading this is that this goes on. The victims of the victims of the industry are kids, and these kids are confused. Right, so this is the way the article unfolds. There are teenage girls that have their breasts cut off. This is permanent. Permanent damage. And then Greene said, where's the journalism in this article? Okay? Where's the fucking journalism? Where's the rebuttal? Greene said that kids are getting transgender surgery before they hit puberty. Give us, the journalism now and say, but that's a fucking lie. And here's the proof, here's the references, and that's journalism, not just repeating what this Nazi says with no rebuttal, with no facts in the article. The victims of this industry are kids, they're confused. It's like, why are you amplifying this Nazi's sick ideology? This is what passes as journalism. It's because it's all about clicks. You understand? And I know you understand. So they have this is coming from the Fox News website, even though it's reposted at Yahoo. But so they must have a repost agreement. But it's from Fox News, and all it is bullshit. It's just, here's another place where Perjury Traitor Greene's bullshit is amplified. So she goes to CPAC and says all this shit, and then some dumbass goes in and reads this, and it says nothing. There's no facts in the entire article. They remove body parts. dangerous chemicals in the pursuit of the lie that they could change genders. There, and then right there is where you put the journalism, where you put the fact that your gender ideology is not in your pee-pee. It's in your head. It's in your brain. And that years and decades of research into trans, whatever, medicine says this, that, and the other thing. And that trans people are, especially youth, have a high rate of suicide. And that gender, whatever, you know what I'm saying, is, what do they call it? Dysphoria is what drives young people to kill themselves. That the best thing that people can do is show compassion and understanding. You know what I mean? That's where you put all that. You don't just go on and say, and then Greene continued, saying that children are under assault from a disturbing ideology. Put this demon's words in front of more people's eyes. Give me a break. You see? That children can change their gender before they're even grown up. Which doesn't happen. That's where the journalism goes. Of course, Greene is woefully and woefully misinformed or willfully ignorant because, A, B, C, D. Here's all the journalism. Here's all the truth. Fuck with this. But yeah, that's Peter Kasparitz. Good job, Peter. Good job doing nothing. Sick. I hope everybody enjoyed my Perjury Traitor Greene impression. I think it's pretty accurate. What do you think? What do you think? That's going to be my Perjury Traitor Greene. It's going to be hard. Take it to SNL. I wish. That would be great. That's the perfect... I mean, I nailed it. All right, guys. I got to go get unconscious. Hopefully we'll have a show. It does sound accurate, I know. Deserves a couple of likes and shares at least on the... Yeah, spot on. All right, my friends. Listen. We will win. Because we're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Jim and Richard, for your super chats. Thank you so much for your patronage, everybody, and for taking my orders, like liking and sharing, giving the show a good review on iTunes and all that, because that helps us. Remember to hit the notification bell so you can hang out in the chat room when we go live. We stick together. We win. Guys, stay safe, and I will see you very soon.